Hey everyone, welcome to the Brush Hour. It's that time again. My name is David Lozeau. For those who are new, I'm a Southern California-based Day of the Dead style artist. And today we're painting motos. This is a custom commission piece. Hence it's so big at 3648 that I can't get my head cam in there. So I apologize for the fact that you can't see me. Maybe that's a good thing. But we'll be doing this. We're going to paint tonight, so feel free to fire any questions you have over. So again, this is a custom commission. There'll be no, well, there might be prints. We don't know. We'll see. But right now you're seeing me, all the background is done in acrylic. All the colors are gouache, kind of like an opaque watercolor. And what you're seeing me do now is the enamel. That's where all the detail goes in. So we're going to get after it and basically do the most fun part of the painting. This is the part I enjoy the most. So we're going to get after it, and feel free to, again, fire any questions you have over, and let's paint.
Nothing but good vibes and go.
Yay! Thanks for joining.
Amy Lynn, love that one.
Thank you, Amy. Appreciate it. Yeah, this is a fun one. We don't get to work with large, so it's fun to.
Well, not on camera.
Not on camera.
The large ones are plentiful, but you don't see a lot.
Yeah, they're really difficult to camera work. So we had to move some things around the studio to make this work, but it's happening.
And a lot of times people don't surprise room.
Yes. Yes. Non-internet. Yeah. You'll be surprised when it shows up.
Good evening.
Hello, Comstock. Welcome.
Goodie. And this looks just like the people. He showed me the reference pictures of them. This is their motorcycle, and this is where in the background is where they live. Like this is how they dress. Like so funny. It is so funny to capture people that way.
And that's why I always when people ask about commissions, and I give give all the details and stuff. I'm always like, this is a chance to capture who you are, and becomes a family heirloom, and it's a unique view of yourself in a moment in time. You can do anything you want.
Yeah.
It's really unlimited.
I have a few that Dave has done of the dogs, and they just when someone kind of some we think about, or like you like don't always how you dress or wear something.
It really is. I love making them for it. It's always super fun because I know it's things that she should know very well, but just when you see them captured in art, it's just a funny, whether it be a clothing or food or something like that. It's always a hoop.
It's a weird thing to have yourself recognized that way. That hangs in your house. It's akin to having like a. Gosh, I think this is the first night there's no World Cup soccer.
I think it is too.
People are gonna do themselves.
Watch the Tour de France.
Saw it. Already saw it.
You see me, well, you can't see me looking down. I have reference pictures of each piece of the motorcycle, as I'm building it here. And I always enjoy this because it's really kind of it's exact, but it's also kind of the simplified. It's kind of the suggestion of certain parts.
Mm. Melissa's saying I've previously thought of having you draw my wedding photo. Hubby was in the Marines, so he has his dress blues on.
See, that's the kind of thing. Perfect.
Yeah, I was just gonna say he did that for a couple. That was years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, when did you paint for Living Country?
Man, at least 10 years ago, maybe 8 years ago, but a lot.
Yeah,
16 or 18, I would think.
It's hard for me to think about.
That's why, again, I love these commissions because we've done custom motorcycles, custom cars, people's boats. We've done all kinds of different, commissions and captured people, fun. This one family loves Disney, so they're a Disney family, so we did them all, with their little mouse ears in a wagon, rolling to the kingdom. A little bit of everything. It captures, and I love it, with these skeletons, it capture everyone's personality. So when they look at the beast, they know who everyone is. From a painting point of view, this painting is 3648. I love that I have this much line work to do. Like, this is my favorite thing to do, and to have this much, it's just,
And a challenge when black is.
Yes, there's a lot of black in this piece, and to make it, not be, all run into each other, to kind of be able to carve out what's pants, what's motorcycle. It's always a fun thing.
So how do you do that now? Because there's pants and there's motorcycle that are dark. You're basically a finished piece, sit back, and then. Yes.
So I'm very you can see the line to the pants. I'll probably put a little longer white line to help differentiate those two. Her jacket doesn't really have any problems. Her sleeve, because I use the white, which is like the shine, the height of the wrinkles, as a differentiator between objects to try and make sure that there's no convergent lines. Very much a comic ink. It's the same kind of thing, is to make sure that it can stand. When you look at it, the objects don't run into each other. Perfect example. You look at this handlebar. That highlight line there, because it cuts off the black line you know behind. I left this highlight line in the top of the grip because I know that this black line was going to come through it. So it's balancing all those kind of things. I'm safe now. What I'll do is, as I paint it, I will go back in, probably shift things back, get rid of some of the white lines that I don't need to have there, because I can clearly, I know what's going on. So kind of as I'm painting, I'll see things back now. Just little things that I'm like, okay, I don't need that now. I was playing it safe, But I have white enamel, so I always go back in and kind of carve some pieces in if they feel like they're too far back. That's why lines like I just did help establish that the plane of this piece of metal here is sitting this way and not the same as this line. So it's using those lines, using those kind of details, let each piece stand for itself. Then when I get into the engine, I'll give you the highlights and the all-star pieces, but I just keep pushing things back. I have here, I want to be like the highlights, of the motorcycle. I think you know if you own that motorcycle, but you don't need to. So Marcel, great question. So the sketching was probably a couple hours, put that together. In the background, probably on there. In the background was probably a couple hours. So right now we're probably in for it for just the back. Walking 6 hours. I'm probably in right now at about 30 hours, and I probably have about 10 left. I paint pretty quick. I'm not a production artist, but I paint fast. So it is a pretty good number. I'm not one to be like, oh, it's 100 hours and that kind of stuff. So that's actual time. This is what I love to do, and it's my job. So we can't be. My boss does not allow me to waste some time.
I was saying maybe I should look at our senior prom.
Whatever picture it is, we can make it work.
Yeah, I love all the different. I think about all the different custom like family ones. It's cute. It's collectible. It's such a funny. And all mine, all the ones he's done for me, are and so they just have this real whimsical kind of cute feel to them. A few of the examples from the spin of the dogs, just stuff like that. Marcel's asking the price or something.
So this piece here is 36.48, and in a custom frame, you're in around the $7,500 range. Custom commissions start at $3,500 for 18 by 24 custom frame. Simple. When you got something this big, I want it to be rustic. Probably have some engine elements and metal elements to kind of throw. Probably, but you don't want a junk pile hang on the wall. So you got to kind of, it's a delicate balance with something this large. It is just so big. No, I think it's rustic. They have a rustic house in Arizona, and they have a bunch of other originals. So you want to kind of to match that rustic feel. So wood.
It's more Arizona.
Yes.
Because of that.
Yes. Exactly. And because I know the pieces that they have, I'm going to try and keep them all in the same ballpark. And they actually, this couple actually purchased this recent racing piece. So I'm going to have everything in the same drum, so I want to make sure they kind of have, share some tones. And a lot of this stuff I'll start darkening, darkening up to kind of disappear, even though it's chrome. I want it to go away, to kind of, fade into the, to be the tank, but not be like, here's every bolt that's on the tank. Especially with these bars going through right here, it serves me much better to kind of push that back there. I would say motorcycle themselves with their motorcycles probably one of the most done ones.
Yeah.
Right.
Marcel's saying, is it ideas already in your head, or is it always something?
Oh, these are two. Let me give you a great question. Let me give you 2 minutes. One, it is all worked out already. This is a commission. It's all exactly where everything's going. Done. My own painting, strangely, also all sorted out. I make spontaneous choices about some of the graphics or where things go, but there's not much. The line work is spontaneous. I'm just doing this. The idea as I work on is that the line work is spontaneous, and all that kind of stuff. I don't know how it's going to look, where it's going to be. But the idea is fleshed out, and it's already drawn on my canvas. Because If not, then the people would end up off canvas, and I don't want to race. Like my idea is already great. Not just to pat myself on the back, but already fleshed out the problems. Now it's just painting. So I make sure that's all worked out before I get to the painting stage. That makes sense. All my experiments, mistakes, that's usually in the concept, like in the sketching of the design. That's kind of where I work out all those bugs.
But when you aren't doing a commission, you do it.
If I'm not doing a commission, then it's a lot more wide open, and it's kind of like I'll just sketch freely. But even then, like I'm a painter who has everything fleshed out before I paint. So I definitely know where things are going to go. I definitely, while the line work is spontaneous, how I'm going to render things, the idea is already there. Like I'll never sit down to a blank canvas and just start painting. I always work out my designs first. The idea of just sitting down and painting to me is horrifying. Not having my idea fleshed out.
But
Oh, sit down. I'll just sketch wide open. There's no rhyme or reason. I may have a concept. I may not have a concept. That's wide open. Those are ideas where I just sit down, and that's where it's spontaneous. I'll just basically sit down and make ideas, line work, material, and just kind of start fleshing out ideas. That's where that kind of spontaneity comes from. There's crap back here in this again, just let me know if that's any of my answers are confusing, because I don't know what I'm talking about.
Sure you do.
Ish. And other piece of trivia, no matter how big the painting, whether it's one of my little tiny smalls or this giant one, same size brush. Same impractical tiny brush. This couldn't be blurrier or worse. But great questions. Funny, some of the stuff I don't think about until I verbalize it out loud.
Marcel's asking, how did you start painting? You were always into art, or was it a learning process?
Well, great. Again, another great question. And yes, both. I was always drawing as a kid, always kind of, getting in trouble in school. I was definitely that kid, drawing on textbooks, all that kind of stuff. And then basically I went to school for graphic design. as art wasn't a real job. So I was told. And then, but good. But that was actually a blessing in disguise because all the things I learned as a graphic designer I use now. All the design stuff, Photoshop, Illustrator, all those things I use help me every day now as an artist. Basically, I started doing kind of art on nights and weekends, making art, and then we kind of basically started to share the work. Started doing festivals and shows, and just kind of blossomed into what it is now. I never knew it would be. I had no idea when we started kind of sharing this. It was more like just if you're gonna paint, stop stamping paintings, go show it. How we started. Somehow I got to here where this is like what we do now. It's been a nice full-time job for 20 years now. I want to say 50, 14.
Yeah.
So farmers markets, every festival under the sun. Like we really were on the road for years to do this, to make it work, and to kind of try and make this we did. This is the first Road King I've painted.
Oh,
like
yeah.
first full size big bulbousy Harley.
What about that backer?
That was I painted on it. I didn't
that's right.
paint it. Yeah. Custom show bike. This is like the first like. And so what you're seeing now is making some guidelines to give me an idea how to work with reflections and stuff when I start painting it, when I start filling in this big tank, because the tank is all black. So I'm just kind of basically throwing in some guidelines, work around. I start to fill this in. Helps me keep the shape. It doesn't get flat. It doesn't get lost. But I don't want it to be too reflective, so we are going to dull it a lot of it in because it is just a big black. I don't like to ever leave a big area just flat black. So I always try and do some, some bits and nooks and crannies, bits and pieces, just to continue the shape. So it's not just a big ball of black. So I always try to make sure there's some kind of reference. Like her jacket. I mean, it's all black jacket. If I did that, no shape would be flat. Same sleeve, I'm going to show some of the texture of the weave. So those kind of techniques just got to the left.
Marcel's saying, so this is your full-time job.
Yeah, Marcel, I've been a full-time painter now, and I have no other gigs, and it's been our full-time job for around 15 years. Well, Eric, pretty cool. We had no idea that it would let us do this. It's taken us to, I think, 14 countries. We haven't traveled in a while, but 14 different countries and all over sharing the work. It's been pretty amazing. So it's not my game plan. I didn't start painting until I was about 7 years outside of 9,000. Yeah, about 5 or 6 years outside of college. I started painting. And I say it again, but the reality isn't at all. I took one watercolor class. I came up with drawing. So
Marcel's saying all this art stuff is pretty expensive, right? Or not all that much, the colors and all that kind of stuff.
At a professional level, yes, the copy can be expensive, but that's not a reason not to do it. You know, one of those things where it's, you know, at my level, I try and buy the things I like, which tend to be, you know, professional grade. But I still use some things, you know, watercolor paper, things you can do. You don't need to buy the best stuff. You know, the best tool for making it just to get that part of your brain working. It is expensive, some of the supplies I have, but again, that's
Intentionally expensive, right?
Yes.
You're not looking for and buying into this.
Oh God, no, not at all. Yeah.
It's just, yes, to buy, you know, the canvases.
Yes, this wood panel right here is going to, this size panel is going to cost you $200 for this size panel. You know, so, and that's not because I like painting on the surface. I didn't go, what's the most expensive panel I've used for 15 years. The surface I like, and this is what I paint. So it's one of those things where I don't like it because it's expensive. I like it because it's expensive.
Like brushes, like there are very expensive brushes, and you don't find that.
Yeah, these brushes are $5 a piece. You know,
and sometimes.
Oh, brushes can be $50, $60. They all natural hair, blah blah blah. So I like the synthetic thing. This works for me, and I've tried all the brushes. And this one is the one I come back to. But yeah, you're right. It's one of those things where I don't shop. It's expensive. Let me get that. I kind of tested everything, and it's all over the map. Some things are expensive. They're great. Some are not great and overhyped in my mind.
It's definitely a accumulation, you know, over the years of investing in equipment.
For sure.
You've seen the new easel.
Yep.
You know, there's easels that are very expensive, $1,000, $1,500. You know, and he has to find what he can hold in paintings and other paintings. Doesn't travel with the easel that much, but sometimes he does. You know, there's kind of like baked in costs to being art.
Yeah.
Or on an art people that can take it.
And we did for the longest time. I didn't paint on an easel. Like I only started painting on an easel because I was traveling, doing shows. And again, right now, even today, as a professional, if you're asking buying an easel, I'm buying the same easel. I bought 1, 2, and 3 of them. I'm buying the same easel, maybe $60, but that's a fraction of how expensive some of these easels are because you don't get that.
Where there's space in your house to the background, the paint, the brushes. It accumulated over time. It's not like you just go out and like buy all the stuff. And like, now I shall paint.
Exactly.
It works up and bubbles up in that way.
And don't ever, no one should ever think they need to buy anything. I mean, you can make art with just paper and pencil if that's what you have budget for. That's what you start with.
Which, in all honesty, if someone was like, where do I begin? Just
yeah.
And a little more.
And if you want the next step, you buy some watercolors. You know, inexpensive watercolor palette, meaning the pan, the colors are dried inside there. You can get one of those for, a student grade one of those from any art store for $15, $20. You get a paper pad for $15. There you go, for $30, you're all in. And you can work on color theory, form. You can do so much with watercolor palette. To this day, I love watercolors. You can just print an ink. You can even need color if you want to. It's whatever you want to use, but Don't let pricing, you can still make art and not break the budget.
And see, I moved from Florida to Arizona, and paint I like because it dries so fast. Where I was used to taking forever to clean my stuff.
Yes.
Oh, 100%. When we do live shows, we could be in Arizona, for instance, and it could be Greece.
Yep.
Because when you were out outdoor shows. The next time we go to Arizona, it could be 40 degrees. And it reacts.
Arizona is difficult. So
Arizona has challenges.
So
any place that has a lot of humidity or not humidity.
Exactly.
These are challenges, and in and of itself, you not always the same. Those things change over time.
And so my advice to you is it's not necessarily the type of brand we're all going to do that. I assume that you're probably an acrylic painter. So you're going to need to put retarder in there. And the retarder is basically, it's better than water. It's basically not dry as fast. And basically you got to experiment with the amounts and what you like, but you will have to use that. And also encourage you to look at open acrylics. They're kind of like oils, but they stay wet for about 2 or 3 days. If you're an acrylic painter, that might be a solution you like also, because it kind of gives you the best of both worlds, especially in your environment. That might be a solve your drying. And all this stuff can be found on Lick online. Is the best art store I'd go to. It's not Hobby Lobby stuff. You want to go to, you can go to Michael's. Again, I would encourage you not to go to Hobby Lobby. Lick online is the best place. That's Russ Heathen's shop. You can see me now. I'm going back in. I'm knocking down some of these lines I thought I need that I feel like are distracting. It's a constant back and forth process going, nope, goodbye. But great art supply questions. One, I feel like I have answers. I've made a lot of mistakes. I've bought a lot of junk. The crappy part is going to be putting a line inside of this little cable that goes all the way down. That's going to suck. I'm just going to give you the shape of the tank so I don't screw that up. Done. Oop, I almost made the mistake of painting the wrong way. Let's switch my reference to the other side of the tank. I just have a pile of, like I said, individual pieces of the motorcycle down here so I can.
Melissa's coming on.
Oh, Melissa.
Oh, sorry about that.
Look at high maintenance Melissa.
Sorry.
Me. I'm Melissa. How am I not being answered? Great question, Melissa.
Sorry,
Good question. So basically, there's multiple levels to this. Short answer is yes, the buyer can decide not to have print. That is very extra for because the pricing of commissions is factored into allowing prints. I always encourage them, if it's not personal, not something I get not sharing. I've done pieces that have not been shared. But I always encourage you, if it isn't overly personal, then the more you share it, the more not going to be prints of it, the more value your original can have long term. But it is that you basically, if you pay a fee, to have that not be shared. All rights are kept by the artist. The way standard stuff works, but you basically, if you wanted to reproduce it, that's always, we can always do those things too. Like you wanted shirts of it, you wanted special things for you, that's always can be worked out. But the short answer is yes, you can decide not to have it be shared. We've done some personal pieces that were not shared. We've done personal pieces where when the artwork was shown to I wasn't even in the room because the person wanted to be alone with the art when it was first shown. They wanted to like take it in.
Be creative. So
thank you. Be creative. Appreciate it. Welcome to my day. I'm just gonna throw this one here. Feed it in. I block the pane just to put this big, long guideline. All right. The dog?
Yeah, that's why he's snoring.
As you can see on this tank, I have way too many lines.
But you're of the mindset that is like paint it and then sit back and figure out what.
Oh, for sure, because I can't. Yeah, because I can't carve those lines back out. Once they're painted out, they're painted out. So yeah, I really have to do too much, and then I go, oh, you can go, you can go, you can go, you stay. I just like the visual texture. My painting style isn't true. I think a comic book, I'd be like, what's that shape? Those weird. I make up my own textures. I don't follow the planes always. It's realistic, but also not. It's kind of my line work is my trademark, and I just my brain sees it. I want shapes. Like some very traditional inking rules. Again, this is for me the most fun, freeing part. Slather the brush. about this so I can paint around it. Like what's going on there. But man, I gotta simplify that. That's crazy town. New paint. So I add reducer to my paint, which is basically like adding water to acrylic just to make it flow the way I like it. I basically kind of make it's a little too chunky. It's a little maple syrupy when I pour it out. So I basically add some maple syrup when it comes out onto the almond. Something better than a freshly made paint. Blop, blip, blop. I use a crappy brush and crappy paint so much longer than I should. Let's just pull that line in there. That crappy line. Now we go in and we're going to push back some of these lines in here.
Ollie says a wow looks good.
Thank you, Ollie. Appreciate it. We are carving out pieces here. Carving out, pushing back.
What kind of brushes do you use for the gouache?
So gouache, I use basically a golden tacton or tacton to pronounce. It's just the synthetic fiber. I prefer treacle for those brushes. These two, they're round. It's called a round shape of the brush. It's almost the same as a watercolor brush, and I enjoy And you get those in all the different shapes. And that brush, this brush is long and super skinny, so it holds enamel. And the brush I use, the watercolor brush, is teardrop shaped, so it holds paint and water inside it. So they're both both brushes are basically shaped for what they're used for. And I think I might have one right here. Okay. Hold on. Of course, there is one right here. That's one. This is a Robert Simmons. They don't exist anymore, but it's the same shape, same synthetic fiber. This one just happens to be white, which you can kind of see. Here you go, the paint there. So this is the shape. I think this is a very big one. Obviously, I use 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. And that wouldn't work for my enamel because it just would gum it up. It wouldn't be designed for my. Take a few of those. For example, that would drive an inker crazy because I basically have given 2 indirect light sources and also give a highlight when I put a shadow on them. It just would. I like it because of texture. An inker would say, "Why is the tank dented?" What's that word? Square up that logo a little bit. There you go.
Jason Murnick says talent.
Hey, thanks, Jason.
Where?
How you doing, man?
I don't see anything.
Where is he at? Hey, yo. Kid flying spaceships here or what?
Right.
Yeah, every time I talk to him, he's qualified for something else.
Smarter than everybody combined.
Yeah. Got the best parts of not.
Very satisfied. Like, I made.
Yeah.
Is that came from me? I can't be all that. I must have something happen.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have kids.
Yeah. Jason hit a home run.
Yeah.
You should give up. That's the only one.
Oh yeah. There. I'm not.
Oh.
Oh, Gene will shower.
An actual paint line I got to put in here, so this has to be pretty good. The black pinstripe pulled from the bike. So we got to pull that pinstripe. That's the books. Just gonna pull that guy. Irony is I can't pinstripe.
I think you could. You just don't. Nor do you need.
Because everything is going to be pinstripe.
Yes, I do not want you to pinstripe our refrigerator.
Yeah, everything would be, yeah, it'd be a whole thing. 100. Do it. Intricate. Blech. That would simplify that. That may or may not say Harley when it's all done. may just be I like all that. I like what's going on there. I don't like this. I want you to see the end of this over there, so we're just break that line a little bit, break it again. Just kind of lets it push back. And you know what? Dark. Close that out. That's nice. Pulling it out. Let's put it next to it. So we're just going to pull that down now. All right. I'm spoiled by the fact that everything underneath this line is black. You can kind of cheat and redraw the shape, but I don't like it, of the tank because it's all going to be black down there. The bottom reflecting line. Pull a couple of those up here. Maybe another one of those down. Lines that don't make sense.
Aldo says that's great.
Hey, thanks, man. Great to hear from you. Thanks for chiming in between saving birds. Aldo sent me the red shoulder talk the other day from a crow attack, which I didn't even know crows did that.
No, but you know, we've seen them get pretty
off, but never like murder. I didn't know that was a thing. Got the wildlife people and should you find a bird like that, everybody, you do not call the Humane Society, call Wildlife Rescue. Just so you're aware. All right, that's a nice job on the tank. I think that's a little fat. We don't tank shame. I'm just gonna take this down a little bit. I'm gonna give it a shape a little more like that. Much better. What the hell is that part of the bike? There's always parts of the motorcycle. I'm like, what is that? This is some weird. It looks like I think it's the horn.
Ollie says I'm a fan of your postcards and stickers.
Hey, thanks, Ollie. Appreciate it. I always try and if you order from us, we always try and fill you up with both. Some stickers always. I want my painting to be a picture of a motorcycle, not how to build a motorcycle. All right, like that. a big line there. Should fix that line because it's too thin. Fatten that up a little bit right there. Maybe we'll play that line some more. This is why I don't binge drive. Find straight lines boring. So we'll do a little dot that dip. Let's come over there. All right, well, that's 6 o'clock. So if you guys have any questions, get them in now. We're going to wrap it up. And again, great questions. Appreciate it all. We hope to be back. See you guys next week. We'll have a new painting. Maybe this one. I don't know. Let's see.
Scout runs it to the
Thank you, Scal.
I wondered why that's following this.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, you know how it is. The social media stuff, the algorithms. But yeah, we do this every Wednesday at 5 o'clock. And again, we often do smalls. We don't do small originals off. We don't have them available often. So what we do is we paint them on the stream. And they're usually available at that time. If you see anything, any questions, always feel free to inquire about it. But, if you're looking for small original, but again, I'm just so glad you can join us and get back in your feed here. So again, thanks for everybody for joining. We're gonna sign off. I hope to catch you guys on the next one. See you next week. Take care.